Welcome to the Josh and Friends podcast. I am your host. My name is Josh. And today's guest is someone I met back in college at the campus radio station. And for some reason, I distinctly remember us having conversations about TV theme songs and something to do with Huey Lewis and the News. It was at this moment in time where we connected. We connected, man. We had this connection about our mutual love for the 80s. And even though I never really hung out with him back then, we did end up reuniting a few years later. And the rest is history. So not only is this guy one of my closest football friends, he's also the co-host of my other podcast. And let's not skip over the fact that he's also an expert within the genre of 80s hair metal. You don't even want to compete with him on this topic. Trust me, you'll lose. I'm serious about this. But anyway, it is my pleasure to introduce to the show my good friend and the host of the Chuck Shute podcast. Let's give it up for the man of the hour, Chuck Shute. All right, Chuck. Hey, man, welcome to the show. How you been?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's good. It's good having you on. It's good having you on. So, I feel weird saying this, but have you been working out lately?
Well, I've been swimming a lot, so I've been doing a lot of swimming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're looking pretty
Thank
fit,
you. Yeah.
pretty strong, pretty muscular, kind of like I don't know, maybe like a Greg Louganis.
Well, I hope I don't look like him, because didn't he have AIDS? I don't want the AIDS body.
Well, I mean, Greg Louganis didn't necessarily, I think he had HIV before he didn't have full-blown AIDS, did he?
I don't know.
I don't know. This is getting kind of weird. But yeah, anyway.
You might have just crossed the line in the first 30 seconds of the podcast.
Well, you're looking pretty lean.
Okay.
You're looking
I'll
pretty
take
good.
that. Thank you.
Yeah. So, well, I think it's a no-brainer that I'd have you on the show as one of my first guests because A, you are one of my closest friends. Mm-hmm. B, we do live in the same city.
Also true.
Phoenix, Arizona, where you live in Scottsdale, a little bit higher
Close
class
enough.
than me.
Oh shit.
And so it's pretty easy to score you as a guest. Mm-hmm. And C, we already host a show together with the Chuck and Josh podcast, so it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Mm-hmm. So we already know you have good chemistry on the air.
Yes.
And
I think so.
And you have great observations on everything we've done together over the years.
Oh,
so
thank you. That's good to hear. I don't think you've ever told me that before. I'm touched. Right now.
Hey, there you go, man. There you go. But you and I have an interesting story about how we first met. We first met back in college at
True.
In Ellensburg, Washington.
I want to say it was like 98.
Yeah. It was definitely. I guess it had to be.
Yeah, because that was my sophomore year. Maybe it was 97.
It might have been late 97.
97, 98. It was my sophomore year.
Yeah. So, but
Late
we were
90s.
at Central Washington University in Ellensburg, Washington.
See-woo.
See-woo, baby. And it was at the radio station. And so, how would you describe me as if you were to describe me, us first meeting?
I mean, people that know you now, it's just you were younger, I guess.
Yeah.
You were younger, but like your personality was the same. Like you were like a happy, like perky, hyper kind of like excited guy. You come in with your like bag of CDs, and I remember like you were playing like the Cheers theme song and like 80s stuff, and like you're playing the more poppier stuff.
Right.
And my co-host at the time, Busky, was more into like the like the death metal stuff. I was like, can I be that guy? Can I be with that guy? I was like, kind of like his music better. Like yours was more like fun stuff.
So it was interesting because I noticed this a long time ago as well. Is you would compliment me on like some of we hardly saw each other. I was coming in prepping for my show as you were getting off your show.
You were getting all this stuff.
Yeah.
And your co-host, who I'm now friends with, Kevin, would always give me shit about something. And I was like I guess I'm still, Dana always tells me I'm still sensitive, but back then I was even more sensitive, and he would just fuck with me for no reason. I was like, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he such a dick to me? Because I never said or did anything to him, but I think he was just fucking around. He wasn't trying to be like a real asshole.
Right.
A little bit of an asshole.
It's funny too, because like you were a co-host and I was a co-host. So like, and when I say co-host, I mean like we weren't the head people of the show. We were like the you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So it was kind of interesting that's how we met.
Right.
And so yeah, you were with your buddy Busky, and
it's like
now
we both dumped our wives and had an affair together.
Exactly. we upgraded?
Yeah, we upgraded.
I don't know.
No. I love
no.
Kevin and Busky.
Yeah, I love both
all those guys.
Yeah, they're awesome.
So
we're
cool that
we're
all
actually still friends.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really neat.
Now, fast forward a few years, like, because we didn't really, I mean, we met each other. We didn't really know each other, right?
Right. We never hung out.
Yeah. So
I just knew you in passing. I don't even know if I knew. Well, I probably knew your name, but your show was Kevin and Howie, so that was a little confusing.
Kind of confusing, right? Yeah. But
it's weird to think that we were all on the same campus at that time. And we later I'm friends with you and Kevin and Ryan and Velasco. But at the time, I never hung out with you guys.
Right, really right. Now, fast forward. I mean, it's got to be a few years after that.
It was like 2006.
Something.
2000.
Now, you were living in Renton. Mm-hmm. Right,
Renton, Washington,
and I was kind of like on the border of Kent and Renton, like off 212. Like,
right.
Well, I'm getting real deep here.
Yeah,
but so and how did we run into each other?
MySpace.
Now, MySpace, but yes. Now, didn't we run into each other at a bar?
So here's what happened. I had a MySpace, and again, I'm trying to remember. I don't know why. I was kind of a loser, I guess, or I don't know. I put out something. Buddy. On MySpace, like, I'm bored tonight. What's everybody doing? Anybody want to hang out? And then, and I said, like, I put my phone number. I was like, call me or something. And then you texted me and you said, you put your phone number on MySpace? Like, and I was like, yeah, who's this? And you're like, it's Josh. And I was like, I thought it was Josh Thompson.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, weird. And then you're like, no, it's the other Josh. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, well, how you doing? Like, what are you up to? And you're like, we're going to do some karaoke later. I was like, oh, really? Where at? And you said,
oh, that's so funny. Yeah.
Bergie's.
Oh, yes. Bergie's. Which later became Love's Landing.
Yeah. And so I didn't end up going, I don't think, that night. But later I was by there, and I think I did text you, and I said, hey, are you at Bergie's? Because you said you go there all the time. And you said, yeah, how'd you know? And I go, or I said, like, are you at Bergie's? And are you with Kevin? And you're like, what? How'd you know that? And I'm like, you said you go there all the time. And I knew you were friends with Kevin. And so then I popped in, and we bullshitted, and then somehow I got into your fantasy football league.
So,
I think you had a spot.
So now this brings me to the topic that I wanted to speak to you about today, which is our Halloween costumes over the years.
Oh, that's a good one.
So this is okay. I'm going to explain a little bit just to build this up, to explain what all happened and how this like all came together. But basically, it was 2006, and the A team. So, all right. So Lee, my buddy Lee,
from episode 1.
Yep. Everybody knows Lee.
That's the only way I know him.
Right. So Lee and I are brainstorming costumes, and he's not a huge fan of Halloween. He's like, but he said if you were ever to dress up, it would be Mr. T from the A team. So then we started talking about doing like this group costume, and we kind of laughed. Nothing comes of it. And a few days go by. Lee sends me this text. And this text is like a shitty, like those old fucking cell phones with the flip phones or whatever.
Flip phones, yeah.
So he sends me this shitty old like text of this white work van that he and he goes, hey, this is on sale, Craigslist. And he goes, he's like, we should make this into the A-Team van. And I'm like, oh my god, like he's fucking serious.
Wow.
And this is like some serious shit. I go, this is on. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, well, time for some casting. Casting is going on. So I'm like, Mr. Lee, obviously Mr. T. Or Mr. I called him Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee.
Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee. Is that like a 60s song?
I don't know. And then I'm like, okay, I'll be face man.
Of course.
How
the
dare
good-looking guy.
How dare you? And then Kevin, he's going to be Murdoch. And then our buddy Eric, he's going to be Hannibal. Yeah. So Lee ends up buying this van for $500. And he brings it over to the house, and we start pimping this ride. So we're tearing out the seats, the shelves, carpet, all the cages that are on the sides. I mean, this is full on a work van, right?
Yeah. Oh, I know. And I'm well aware.
And so we start power washing the inside. It's all like full of just nastiness and spray painting the interior. And we started painting the exterior. And anyway, I have a video somewhere of this online. But
no, that's a great video.
Yeah, and
to the Michael Jackson song.
Lee acquires these seats, these free seats on Craigslist. He puts seats in the back, and then Eric and Lee lower the front of the van, and then we get one of those loudspeakers in the front. We put that in the front so we could play the music when we're going down the streets. We could play the kind of like the Blues Brothers.
I think you left out one detail though.
What was that?
Didn't you guys spray paint the van? Did you say that?
Thank you.
Because wasn't your neighbor's like, he was like a car guy.
Yeah,
like
George.
He restored old cars. And you guys were over there with spray paint cans.
It was so funny.
Spray painting the van. And he's just shaking his head.
So he's this retired old guy, and he like works on cars. And he still had cars that he had in his garage right across the street. And he goes, you guys are just endless entertainment for me. He goes, I just love, and he's just shaking his head and just watching us. He goes, oh my God. Because we literally have like cans of like just regular spray paint.
Was it too hard to get like the real?
Well, we're not fucking painters. We don't fucking
Could that guy have helped you? I mean, if he was
Yeah, it's more fun to probably watch us and make fun of us to his wife.
True.
But so there's a problem with this story is that our buddy Kevin, he bails out.
What does that voice sound like again?
Interesting. So he goes, I gotta work, so I'm not gonna be able to be the part of your A team. I'm like, okay, so I'm freaking out. Kevin is a great Murdoch, so without many options, I hop into MySpace, and I'm searching for friends of friends, and blah blah blah. Anybody that would fit this role, and I come across you. And I'm like, holy shit. He might even be a better Murdoch than Kevin. So I message you. And the response was fucking emphatic. You're like, yes, I will do that. Oh my God. I'm like, holy crap.
No, because
it was nuts.
The thing is
I wish I still had MySpace so I could like go back and look at that message.
Oh yeah, I probably have that somewhere. The thing is like, again, we had talked at Bergie's, and you somehow fantasy football came up, and I said, oh, do you guys have any spots? And you're like, no, I don't think so. But then I think Double R backed out, so then a spot opened up. So I got into your fantasy football draft, and that draft party was so fucking fun. And then I think, was that the night we went to the Howard Stern comedy show afterwards?
It might have been afterwards.
That whole night was so fun, and I talked about it to my girlfriend at the time for like, I don't know, like weeks. And I was in the league, and so we're still messaging and stuff on the league and everything. But I never really hung out with you guys. It had been a few weeks, but I kept talking about, oh, these guys are so fun. I want to hang out with them. So then when you messaged me that, I was like, oh, fuck yeah. I've been like, looking itching for a chance to hang out with you guys again. So I was like, fuck yeah.
I mean, we were like a fun, tight group, man. Like,
it was a lot of fun.
And I was like, dude, like, this is awesome,
It was just like, you guys were fun. There was no drama. It was just high energy. Yeah. It was just good times.
Right. I agree.
Everybody was like really happy.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I know. It was a good group of like friends from that era. It's great. So after that, we're getting everything ready. We finally finished the van.
And I didn't help on the van, which by the way, I kind of feel bad about, but
no, that's fine. Because like it was mostly, I mean, I guess me, Eric did some, he did some of the spray painting, but Lee and I, we'd work there, like we'd work on that van, like, into the night, and then Eric came over and he's the one that's like, into like, he was like, he helped lower the van, like,
that's crazy all the stuff you did. Yeah.
And then, so I cut Lee's hair, and like we all got our costumes all ready and everything. And
that was an amazing job on his haircut was exactly like Mr. T. It was insane.
Lee's like, I've been planning for this my whole life. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yep. And I'm like, okay.
And wait, now I don't think Lee was not at that fantasy draft, right? Because the first time I met Lee was Mr. T.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he was.
The draft had to be before that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. But anyway, Lee, remember how Lee was like, he's in like full fucking character, full character.
Oh, yeah.
And it like frightened you. You're like, Jesus Christ, dude, I don't know.
Well, that was the first time I met him. So I don't know if he was always like that.
Jesus, I mean, this guy's really like Mr. T. I better fucking like, be on my best behavior around this guy. He'll fucking
flip on me. You guys had talked about him too, about how like, oh yeah, he beat the shit out. No, you can't fuck with him. Like, he'll beat people up. And I was like, oh, this guy's like scary. Like, and then now that looking back, like knowing how Lee, he's a big teddy bear. But at the time I was like, whoa, this is a little scary.
So when we were doing that costume, remember like at the last minute, then our buddy Eric, who was playing, so basically what was it? It was our, who was it? So Lee was Mr. T, and then you were Murdoch, and I was Face, and then he was Hannibal. So Hannibal, at the last moment, he got upset because of something I wrote to him, because he goes, what's going on? Like, what's going on tonight? And I go, dude, we're like scrambling to get stuff ready.
Right.
You know, remember that?
And then we had to go to Kevin's party.
Yeah, but and then he goes, I feel like I'm in the dark. And then do you remember what I wrote?
You read, turn on the light.
And he fucking flipped out. He flipped his shit.
Yeah,
and he goes, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not coming. I'm like, what do you mean?
Have fun without Hannibal.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
That was a line.
Can you imagine? Like, we've been spending, I don't know, a month like doing this van and shit. Like, I mean, it was like weeks and weeks of work. And then he's like, at the last, like the day of when we're supposed to go out, he's like bails.
Yeah. And then Ryan was like, we're like, well, I guess we got to put that stuff on Ryan. Ryan's like, I guess I can shave my Fu Manchu or whatever, like his
so
mustache
ridiculous.
and stuff.
So
like,
ridiculous.
We're trying to like think that maybe Ryan could do it because we didn't have any other options at that point.
Yeah. So we ended up like Lee ended up talking him off the edge or the ledge, the edge.
Yeah.
And
Lee's always been good at that.
Yeah. So then we went to Kevin's party, but when we went out to the bars in Tacoma, that's when things got a little bit crazy. When we figured out we figured out how popular it became.
Oh yeah.
Because remember how like people were just taking pictures with us and like, wait a minute, you guys have a van too? We're like, yeah. And he goes, you got to bring the van around the corner. So like Lee brings this van around the corner. He like parks in like you're not even supposed to park where he parked, but he's like, dude, this is crazy. And like, and the same thing happened with Seattle too. Like they made us do that too. And then remember who we ended up losing to in the contest for Tacoma?
Wasn't it Ryan?
Yes, it was Ryan.
Yeah.
And the reason why, and Ryan, remember what Ryan's costume was,
Yeah,
right?
so Ryan is for those of you who don't know Ryan, he's a very hairy, probably the hairiest person I've ever met. And he just took his shirt off and put a gorilla mask on.
Yeah, and for like 5 years in a row.
Everybody freaking loved it, though.
All he would do is wear shorts and shoes and a gorilla mask.
Yeah.
And that was his
It worked,
costume. Yeah, and people loved it. Girls were like petting him all drunk. Like, oh my God, look at this guy. It was so funny. But yeah, remember when we stopped at the Taco Bell when we, the next night when we went to Seattle? And we stopped at this Taco Bell.
Oh, is that when the girl said, "Are you the real Mr. T?"
She's like, "Oh my God, it's Mr. T!" And like Lee's like, "You goddamn right it is." And like he's like, "You better suck it." Like I don't know, he's just being like Mr. T. And she's like, "Oh my God!"
No,
like,
and then she goes, "Are you the real Mr. T?" And I'm like,
he's white. He's a white guy.
And he's not wearing blackface.
Oh no,
thankfully he did not wear the blackface.
I want to stress this: he was not wearing blackface. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, we ended up winning a grand prize in first prize in Seattle for $500. But so that was a huge success. And so the next year comes around is 2007. And we start brainstorming new ideas for our new group costume. And we got into this, like, knowing that we're not going to top like that. That was just crazy. I mean, we built a van, and I mean, come on, you built a van.
That was that was probably definitely one of the best.
So we came up with this list of ideas, and it was huge. It was a huge list. And we decided to stick with the 80s theme. And what was the costume?
Wasn't that the Golden Girls?
That was the Golden Girls, yeah. So,
and we had a different group this time. Like Eric had dropped out, and for some reason Lee had dropped out. And
yeah, no, well, I don't know if they necessarily dropped out because like they weren't into that one really. Like like Lee's like. Makes sense. Remember what Lee said? He goes, "Look, I just want to do Mr. T." He goes,
that's true.
I'm pretty much retired. So like, but hey, look, I always say this. I go, I'm not good at a lot of things, but what I am good at is casting, and I should have been a casting agent in Hollywood.
Yeah, you're pretty good at that.
Because
I agree.
Because this next casting job that we had the Golden Girls. I was Blanche, the slutty old chick,
slutty one that fits you.
You were Rose,
the dumb
Betty
one that fits me. Yeah.
And Riddle was Dorothy, the big tall grumpy chick.
That fits him.
But the all-star costume, who brought it all together, was 351. 351. And as Sophia,
shorter in stature, and Sophia's shorter.
He had a walker.
With tennis balls on the bottom.
It was so great, dude. It was
awesome.
Like, remember what? Like, I always like said this. I go, look, hey, this is a very, very specific costume. We all need to be right next to each other for anybody to get this.
People are like, why is this guy dressed like an old lady?
Yeah, this like old drag queens, ugly ass drag, and we were horrible at putting a makeup. We were just
didn't you have directions from Anne?
Dude,
she gave you like directions written down.
It was a fucking mess, dude. Funny. Like we looked so terrible.
We looked like
it was
like $2 hookers.
It was
because we had like way too much. We didn't know what we were doing.
What do you remember about that costume and that night? Like, do you remember any details about that night? You know what I remember? This is weird. Like, and we always talk about this. Like, but I remember that cute little girl that came up when we were getting ready.
Yeah.
When we were getting ready.
Oh yeah. And then she goes.
And
she opens the door.
I go, who's that? Is that Britney Spears? Are you?
No,
Britney Spears?
I said, oh, are you Britney Spears? And she goes, no, I'm Hannah Montana.
She goes, I'm Hannah Montana.
Yeah. And you're like, and then that was the first time you're like, that was the cutest little girl. I go,
it was.
What?
I was
like, you never say stuff like that.
She was
like,
adorable.
I was you never, in that our friendship, like a year and a half, I was like, I've never heard you say anything as cute or adorable ever. And
I like little kids.
That little kid was so cute.
They're so funny.
There's a side of Josh that I didn't know.
So yeah,
it was a cute kid though.
We ended up going to, I don't know, Fife or Tacoma or something where what the hell?
No, some bar. So we had our friend Riddle who played Dorothy. Riddle always had this thing where he'd always get us to go to these weird bars. He goes, word has it, this bar is gonna be off the hook tonight. And 99% of the time, it was totally dead, and there was like 3 people in there, and it wasn't music playing or anything.
So true.
But this one time, he took us to some bar in the woods, and it was off the hook.
Firwood or something.
Or it was really busy and happening, and there was girls with us.
It was crazy. It was crazy. It was amazing.
Oh, this is the one time Riddle
and then
was right.
We actually ended up winning like first prize again. I was like, wow. I go,
did we win?
Yeah,
that time?
we did. Yep, we did.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah,
that. Okay.
we did. Must have been pretty drunk because we actually won first prize again.
Okay.
So the next year in 2008, you and I keep it going, but we decided that we should just do a duo this time because like the group thing is pretty hard.
Stressful.
Like, it is. It's stressful. It's hard to do. So
I don't think we were opposed to a group thing, but I think we just had that big list and we picked one that we thought this one will work.
Right.
This will be easy.
Right. So the next one we came up with was Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. And that was before. Now I've seen it a million times.
Right.
But at the time, I don't think there had been too many people that had done it.
Well, and we talk about this all the time, but like how annoying are those fucking outfits that they have? They're like cartoon outfits.
Yeah.
They have like they have the big fluffy oversized hats with like the stupid coats that look like
were
cartoons.
They not meant for Dumb and Dumber?
I don't know, but like it's terrible.
It was an orange and blue tuxedo.
Yeah,
like in Dumb and Dumber.
Okay, so what we did, we decided. I was looking at the costumes. I was like, all this stuff is garbage. It's garbage completely. Mm-hmm. So we went online. We ordered some good stuff online, and ordered for a little bit extra. It cost a little bit extra to get the real hats.
And
we got
canes.
the real canes. Yeah. And then we
shoes.
rented costume from the costume store.
With the shoes. Okay.
Yeah, the shoes and the real tuxes.
Yep.
So, and you know what I remember from this night was it was so fucking cold outside. It was freezing outside in Seattle. You know, October kind of could be really.
This
cold,
was right before I moved to Arizona, so I remember it.
Yeah. So everyone's taking pics. Nothing really creative. Like when we went to that bar in Seattle.
Do you remember when you slipped and fell on the concrete? That scared me for a second.
Yeah, I do remember that.
That was bad. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Because those shoes have no traction whatsoever.
That was terrible.
Ugh.
Terrible. But like everyone was like taking pics. Like nothing was of us, and like they loved our costumes. We kind of thought we were like, okay, this is not like the most creative of our costumes, but it was like one of the first times we did see that. Like,
I had never seen it before.
But like, you remember, like that was the night that we kept seeing like there were really bad outfits that night at that bar.
Was that like, the night of the year of Bender, or was that the Golden Girls?
No, that was the Jokers, right? All the Jokers.
Yeah.
So like all the the nurse Jokers.
Oh.
And we kept seeing those. Like we're like, okay, like all right. And we saw like 2 of those on stage with us. But remember how hard it was to get on stage? That was like one of the
that was the thing where you had to meet some girl and get a ticket or something. And it didn't really
the entire night we're searching.
Yeah.
We kept asking everybody. We're searching for this girl.
Yeah, I don't think that's systems like that.
That's like one of the times that we're like figuring out like, okay, this is like their friends run this shit and they're picking their
or it's just whoever's in charge picks the costumes that they like, and maybe they didn't like Dumb and Dumber. So.
Well, and just like other times before, we finally get on the stage somehow, and then when we get on stage, we just kick the shit out of everybody because remember what I said? I go, look, to me anyway. I go, look, it's not the most original costume, but I go, so what we have to do, we have to sell it. We have to sell this fucking costume.
We had to walk around and kind of
we had to
talk to people.
talk to people, like work it, like get on stage and like, do stupid shit on stage.
And you had the little bird like with the duct tape.
Yeah,
on
we
the
had
neck,
little
Petey.
Petey. Yeah, Petey. Yeah, of course. You got to have like little props, man. Yeah. So 2009 rolls around and we're shopping ideas around again, and we threw out about 50 ideas between us, and all of them were like kind of like on the list before, but one on the list that was like it was a really funny one, but it needed like it needed either a dead guy that could play like a dead guy, or like someone that or an actual just like a dummy or some sort of like thing. So lo and behold, a full-on life-size dummy on Craigslist shows up. And I'm like, well, I'm on my way to Linwood. so I'm like, I drove to Linwood. I give him a crisp $100 bill, probably 20s. But anyway, sounds cooler that way. And then we go to Goodwill, find a blue jacket, some khaki pants, shoes, a hat. Then over to the costume store for mustache and glasses and you remember how hard it was? This is what I remember most about this. Well, second most is trying to find Hawaiian shirts for this, like the specific Hawaiian shirts.
I think
for
you
this.
did all the shopping for that one. I don't feel.
No,
I, feel
I
like
remember the last. It was like
because I flew in for that one. I was living in Arizona.
Yeah, this is bad too because like I remember like you fly in, you're like, yeah, let's go to blah blah, let's do this, do that, and I'm like, I pick you up, and then we're like, let's go to Goodwill. So we're going to all these Goodwills, and I'm like, this is like before you could like do like, hey, Amazon next day shipping, blah blah. So like we're literally like trying to find Hawaiian shirts in the middle of winter in fucking Seattle, and it's not good. It's bad. So anyway, we found something that worked, and how bad did your biceps hurt after that costume, walking around with that dummy, holding that dummy all night?
Yeah, I just remember my whole body hurting. Yeah, carrying that thing. Like,
it was
I don't
so
know if it was
bad.
My back or my arms or what. And that's the thing too. Like people don't realize when we go out on Halloween is like you don't even really drink that much because you're working basically. You're like you're working
when you're doing what we were doing. Yes.
Yeah, you're trying to win these contests, so you're meeting people, you're talking, you're having to run up there and like get on. You got to sign up and then get up on stage, and so it's like you really don't have time to drink a lot.
Yeah, no, dude.
So we felt the pain.
Yeah,
but that was actually a good one.
Dude, that was a really
you thought of that,
one.
and I think I was like hesitant. I was like, I don't think anyone's gonna get this, but and I think probably less people did get it. But the people that did get it loved it. And it was also super original. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had seen it online, but I'd never seen it.
I don't
because I don't know how you thought of it.
I'm trying to think of like how we saw that, like, or how if I've ever seen it still.
Okay.
I think I might have seen it.
No, I've definitely seen it online now, but I don't know if we just thought of it or we had seen pictures online.
But it is pretty fun.
Sometimes you see a picture online and then you'll think like, oh, I can do that better.
Yeah,
and then we do.
Right.
We do it better. So I don't know if that was one of the, but I was like kind of like on the fence about that one because I didn't think people were going to get it, but we won contest for that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So you had mentioned before that you had moved to Arizona. You moved to Arizona when, 2008 or 2009?
I think it was 2008.
2008. Yeah. Okay. So you came So 2010, did you, so there was going to be, I guess the first Halloween that we weren't going to, because you flew up for the other one, right?
Yeah, I think I flew up for that one.
So this 2010 was going to be actually the first Halloween that we weren't going to be doing as a team costume together in like 4 years.
Yeah.
So cue the sad music.
Wah.
So I ended up going as a Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
The movie, not
cool.
the TV show, the movie.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I did
That's
that.
Also one I don't think I had seen before.
Yeah, like
at that point. Now I've seen it.
Because it's kind of like a hard one to do.
I think you can buy that outfit.
Yeah,
now,
you could buy that now.
See, that's a lot of these, like, you can buy the outfits now, but back then you had to make it.
Right, yeah, we full on made that outfit. And, I did that with, my brother with Styles and Natalie with as Boof.
Right.
And you ended up teaming up with Noel doing the ambiguously gay duo.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a deep cut, I guess. Like, even though they had the costumes, I don't think a lot of people got it. Like, I thought it was funny, and I think I've seen it since. But it was okay. It was fun.
That's pretty fun. I mean, like, I ended up coming in first place, but it was at some dive bar, like at some, whatever.
Yeah.
It didn't really matter. But But in 2011, I decided to follow in your footsteps, and I moved to Arizona for work and some much needed sunshine.
Yeah, you took a big chance. That was a good one. I'm really proud of you for that. That was cool. I thought you'd like it better. I was like, dude, you would love this so much better than living in Kent.
It was funny too, because like I just saw this on Facebook when they have this like 9 years ago or whatever, 8 years ago, and it says like and I saw this picture, and it was taken, I guess it was taken 2 days before I ended up actually driving out to Arizona. And it was one of those days in Seattle where it was completely dark gray skies, and it was pouring rain. You couldn't even see in front of you, like it was driving on the freeway. And I was like, I think this is fitting. It's nature's way of telling me I'm making a good move here. It's pushing me out of the state at this point. So
yeah,
I love Seattle. Love Seattle.
No, I
to
do
death.
too. But but
it was crazy.
9 months of the year, it's so much better here. It really makes a difference for me.
Yeah,
I was thinking that today. I was like seeing this as I was driving around. I was like seeing the sunset over, I think it was Camelback, and it was just like, God, I love these like sunsets. And again, it's probably raining in Seattle right now.
Yeah, it could be. It is October.
Yeah.
So 2011, the band is back together, and we started putting on our thinking caps. Now, the country was still reeling from the death of bin Laden, and I remember our buddy Sean Greenfield. He was right before we moved, we were walking into this Goodwill, as I like to frequent because that's where I got like a lot of my mint vinyl, like at that era. And he goes, you know what you should do? You should do a weekend at Bin Laden's. And I go, I literally stopped before I walked in, and I go, oh my God. I go, holy shit. And I go, and he goes, and I'm like, fuck, man, that's you're onto something right there. Anyway, so I fast forward, I move here, and you're gracious enough to let me like crash on your couch for like those couple of weeks before you actually moved. And then I told you, and boy, it's pretty controversial. That's a controversial outfit right there. And you're like, man, like I don't know, man. Like I don't know how that's gonna go. And you're like, it's a really controversial costume, but it's up to you. And you're like, and then I remember you saying this. You go, look, sleep on it. Let me know. I'm going to bed. And I remember I woke up in the middle of the night. I dreamed about it. And
wow.
I woke up and I go, and I couldn't wait. Like I couldn't wait for you to come out of your room. And I go, dude, we have to do this. And you're like, okay. Well, hey man, this is you, man. This is all you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. So like,
that's true. Yeah. I give you all the credit for that one too.
Yeah. Because you go to work, and I'm like, well, it's time to start putting this shit together. So I drove down to the Albertsons right down the street here. I bought a plum. I remember seeing this on a special effects site long time ago. And what they did was they bought clear Elmer's glue, and they bought a plum.
Okay.
And then they mixed. You put a plum and you peel it like over it, and I put it over the eye of Bernie. Oh. And then what I did is you put like this fake blood over it, and then what you do is you put the clear glue over the eye, and it seals it, right? So it's like it's perfectly.
I thought you just bought fake glue or fake blood.
No. Yeah. So like So it was a plum that was inside of there. Huh. So basically, it made it look like his eye literally was exploded, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it was really cool.
So anyway. So then we busted out, the old fake Ryan jacket, the army jacket, and we ordered it. We both ordered a turban, we bought the turban from a store. I remember.
Yeah, you got all that stuff. I don't think I just paid you I just wrote you a check or something. Like, I was like,
no, because you were with me when we bought sandals. We bought sandals.
Yeah, I bought it something, but you dressed up. Because I was like still working. And I think you had just moved here, so you didn't have a job.
Yeah, right. So I'm
like,
I'll fucking do it.
All this time.
I'll take care of it, man.
Take care of it.
Yep. So
no, when you dressed him and I saw him, I was like,
you freaked out.
That's crazy because it really looks like.
Oh yeah.
And it's weird because you wouldn't think with a face, you don't know, but it's just because of the costume, the sandals, and the
it was nuts.
The gown and
you're like, I can't even
beard.
Believe
it was like really good.
You're like, my mind's fucking blown.
I think because of the beard covered most of his face.
With the beard on
with
top
the turban, it's like
right.
It really looked like.
Yeah. So, do you remember when we went for the first night for that? We tested it out.
Yeah, we went to like some casino in Chandler.
Yes. So we went to this casino.
No, not Salt. Wild Horse Pass.
And it was like a test to see how popular this was, and it was wildly popular.
Right.
Like, I mean, we're talking.
Yeah, because there wasn't that many people
nuts.
at the bar in the contest, but we were going through the casino. I feel like people were like, "Oh, can we get a picture of that?"
We were getting stopped every like 2 seconds to take a picture
it was
with,
cool.
right?
It was like we felt like a celebrity. Almost.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was kind of cool.
And remember that poor old lady? She's like, because we were wearing shirts, so we were
right.
carrying the dummy.
We went as Navy SEAls or
SEAL
Team 6.
We were wearing Navy SEAL shirts and then Army pants.
Yeah.
And then we were wearing like the glasses, right? Which is ridiculous. But anyway.
And hats, I think.
Yeah, and Army hats. And this old lady, she goes, I really want to thank you for your service. And I'm like, we're holding the dead body of Bin Laden.
Yeah, this is clearly a Halloween costume.
And it's Halloween. Like,
again,
all right,
reminds me of the lady that thought Mr. Lee was the real Mr. T.
And we're like, thank you. This feels weird saying this,
right.
but yeah. Anyway, so then we went to Ghost Ball, and Ghost Ball. That is when this is probably the peak of all of our contests, all of them. Period. When we walked up to that stage, first of all, this is another fucking time that we spent all night trying to get on this fucking stage.
That's right. Then we got up at the last minute, right?
We got up at the last minute.
Like you found her at the last. I don't know how you did it. You found her at the last minute.
And how do you describe how big this was? This is the peak of that place, too. There's thousands of people in the fucking
I mean, I've been
audience.
to concerts with way less.
Oh
people,
yeah, way less.
Yeah,
so we get on this,
weird,
and it was a big stage. So they had a backstage, and
because it was a block party, so it was outside. So it was as far as the block went, and it was a sea of people.
It was ridiculous. It was huge. I just remember we finally get in, and they're like, "Okay, here, make way, girls. We need to get these guys in." And we were next to these girls that were dressed up as the single ladies.
Oh right.
And I remember one of the girls goes, and she looks at us and she goes, "Oh shit!" Like, and I was like, "Yes,"
because she knew we were.
And then, but when I knew that we had sealed the deal, here's what I knew when we'd seal the deal. And you're holding a flag. You're waving a flag and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like,
who's gonna hate America?
No. And we're in Arizona.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is Seattle, this would be a different fucking thing altogether. But I remember I even said it to you. I go, we're in Arizona, Chuck. Yeah. This is not as controversial as if we're in Seattle.
True.
Let's just face it. Okay. I mean, so
and plus people are drunk and everyone's having a good time.
Oh, absolutely. So when
it's kind of it's comedy.
When the DJ, when he decided to hold us and call us up last, and I go, this is it. We won. Mm-hmm. And you're like, what? We haven't even got up there. And I go, trust me, they're saving us for the last. And we went up there, and the roar. It was the hardest I've ever heard anybody, any group ever like cheer for us, like ever. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was like a roar. I mean,
yeah.
It was nuts.
Who wouldn't
exactly
cheer for that?
And here you are waving a flag, and we're like, and I'm like, doing the fist. Like,
how long had it Bin Laden? Like that had just happened
it just happened like a few months ago.
Months.
Yeah.
Okay,
so, but I mean, that's so big.
That was pretty good timing then. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was great. It's a funny story. But in 2012, we kind of like went solo for our next costumes. I went as.
Is that when you did the cat one?
No, I went with Elliot as E.T.
Oh yeah.
On the bike. And
I've seen so many of those.
Yeah, I've seen those a lot too, like recently. But and then you went as Ace Ventura.
Oh yeah, you always told me I should do that. So
yeah,
that was an easy one.
Because you already look like Jim Carrey, right? So so that's
second Jim Carrey costume I've done. But
and it was funny because when I did the ET one, I think I'd seen that maybe once, but it was like always with like a little doll. You know what I mean, like a little doll. And I had the real actual like the real like
E.T.
original head of E.T. Yeah, like the mask that came out in 1982. Oh. And so it was like a real like mask from back then, right?
Yeah, the latex ones.
I'd put like a light in there, like as the heart light, like so anyway, I just
That's
went
cool. Yeah, no, I think it looked really good.
Yeah, I ended up winning like that was the most I've ever won on a prize, which was like $2,600 in cash and prizes or something. It was nuts, right? Wow. But it was funny because like that was supposed to be a duo costume.
Oh yeah, wasn't Crazy Joe gonna do it? Or?
No, it's Chelsea.
Oh.
And she was going to be the girl.
Okay.
Like, what's her name? Gertie or whatever?
Yeah. Drew Barrymore's character.
And she was supposed to wear the overalls and like she had the whole outfit. We'd already picked out the outfit. She already had it ready to go, but she broke her ankle like a few days prior to that or something like that. So
see, there's a problem with group costume.
Yeah, exactly. So she couldn't go, and I was like, well, and I ended up helping me, but
because you won more money, you didn't have to split it with anybody.
Right. So, but yeah. So anyway. So yeah, in 2013, another solo year for us. You went as Marty McFly.
That was fun. That was actually one of the most fun.
That was pretty good too. I liked it.
Because I didn't have to wear a mask. I didn't have to carry a dummy. Like it was a very
so relieving, right?
Yeah, it was a very relaxing. I mean, it wasn't as I didn't win any costumes or.
I liked your pick is like such a great pick, and like it looks like you're in the parking lot,
Yeah, the only thing that sucks is that you guys wouldn't do it with me. Like I wanted Noel to be Biff, and you could have been
we talked about that for years.
Yeah,
I don't know what. I don't know
because you wanted to do Grumpy Cat. You were like, I'm doing Grumpy Cat. I was like,
no,
okay.
I think that was there's something.
Cat, right?
Yeah, but I don't think that there was something else that was. Maybe were we fighting or something?
I don't think so.
I don't know. All I just remember is that was like my least favorite of the costumes because like it was a very very specific group of people that knew about that, and the people that knew about it loved it. But like it's like it's probably my least favorite. But I loved your costume that year.
Yeah, I think mine would have worked better if we had Noel looks like Biff from Back to the Future.
Right, that's a no-brainer.
And you could definitely do the wide-eyed, like you could have done that. I think it would have been better. Yeah, it would have been, or like whatever. You could have been Marty McFly. I could have been Professor, but we could have made that work. I think it would have. We could have made it work.
I definitely, I could see myself as a crazy Doc, but
yeah, you think that's But either way, like having the three would have been better, and we could have had Dana be the girl or whatever too. But,
yeah. 2014, we're back together. The band is back together, and for another group costume, and we decided to get topical. And a little controversial this time. And you remember this one was?
Topical. Oh, was this the Ebola virus?
This is in the news that year. Everyone was freaking out about the Ebola virus. Which is funny because like...
Was this my idea? I feel like this one was mine.
No, so... we kind of thought about this one together. So people were like dying at alarming rates. And it was getting pretty sad and serious. But like, look... We had a funny take on it. Like is it Seinfeld or like there's like comedians that like, look, anything could be funny, right?
Yeah.
So we're like, and you're the one that actually talked me into going full on with this costume because like we were shooting around ideas.
Oh, that's right. You wanted to have like somebody wear like a T-shirt that said "infected" or something.
Something
like,
crazy. And
that doesn't make any sense. That's gonna be too confusing.
But I also threw out the one where the other version where we had our buddy Marty who, he's African American.
Yes.
And we were gonna get a dashiki and wear him. Have him wear that, and like stand around with us, and then we were going to be like the two guys that were like controlling the Ebola, the CDC control unit.
And that's what we did
in hazmat suits,
right?
And you're like, we have to do that. Yes. You laughed so hard. You're like, we have to do that version, and I was like, fuck. I'm like, it is funnier. Fuck. And I reached out to Marty, and I remember Marty like didn't reply to me for like fucking like an hour, and I was like, oh shit. And I go, did I offend him? And he goes, and then he goes, I'm in. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. So like, that was kind of funny. But here's the bad thing about that costume. Remember how bad it was?
Oh God, it was so hot.
It was the hottest costume.
Suits. I had no idea.
It was the worst
costume. I
don't
know how people wear those.
It's probably and they do them in Africa.
That was almost like kind of dangerous to do it in Arizona in the heat. I don't know. It was like, it was bad. It was really bad.
By far the worst costume.
We could all hurt ourselves with it. Like if we passed out or something.
I think I sweat like a fucking gallon.
You know what the thing is what we did though is we took the hats off, or the hat piece helmet thing off most of the time. It was still hot, but at least having.
So bad.
But then when we go on and we put it on and we'd have to remember you'd be like, okay, we're gonna go do a round, and we'd walk around to the party and try to sell it more to people.
Right,
so we'd have to put the hats on, and it was so freaking hot.
Oh, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And then in 2015, we decided to bring it back to the 90s with Point Break.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah,
another group costume.
So, which is funny because, like, if you're not familiar with the movie, we went as the presidents in the movie. Like, they dressed up as presidents, past presidents to rob a bank,
right,
or rob banks. And I went as Ronald Reagan. You went as Richard Nixon. Is that right?
Yeah, I think I was Nixon. You were Reagan.
Jordan was Lyndon B. Johnson, and my personal favorite, Noel.
Our friend Noel.
was Jimmy Carter.
He's a staunch Republican.
Yes.
And he went as the Democrat. I said,
I laughed
he didn't want to do. He goes, I'm Reagan. I go, no, you're going to be the Democrat.
Nope. And I was he's like, no. All right.
And then I said, I go, just think about it. Like, what's the scariest thing that you could be? A Democrat. And he's like, oh, okay, I'm in. I'm like, okay, good. I sold.
Dude, I was laughing so hard. I was like, Noel's gonna be the Jimmy Carter.
That was fun. That was a good one. We even had real guns, I think, for that one, didn't we?
It was funny, man. Like, we took pictures with real guns. We
couldn't take those.
We're not gonna bring them out to the bars or anything. But remember how
we win for that one? I can't.
No, and you know why?
Oh, that's right. Because that was the year the ghost ball fell apart. That was the end of the ghost ball.
That was so. It was
a nightmare. We couldn't even go to the bathroom.
No.
And then we ended up going to Gilligan's, and we would have won there, but we hadn't started and we missed the contest.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. Yeah, because nobody it's just so bad. Like, it was kind of like it was almost like even the costumes were kind of getting like they're like less and less like the
last few years have not been as good at costumes.
So in 2016, I was so excited for this year's costume, 2016's costume. We were both going as 80s icons again, but this time it was in separate groups. So like you and Dana and Jordan were going to be Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and I was going to be the Goonies, and another mutual friend of a friend, I guess. I had cast from Facebook again. I went on Facebook and I did I was like, oh my God, he'd be perfect. He's a bigger guy and he's like funny. I know he's a comedian. He's like a local comedian. And, he'd be perfect. And you guys did a great job. You guys, you went as Ferris, Dana as the girlfriend was Sloan, and then Jordan was Cameron. And you guys did awesome. I was like, we had fun taking your guys' pictures and everything. And
it's really good.
And I love your guys' costumes.
I think you should. That was another one. I feel like you should have just joined us. Like, I mean, Jordan was great too, but yeah.
I'm all about the cat. I'm like, Jordan's like the taller, like thinner guy. Yeah, he's a better Cameron. You know what I mean? So like, I'm all about like, hey, look, if we're gonna do it, man, like do it right. Like have Jordan be the guy that fits perfect. Like, so but. Always as my biggest fear is that my partner bailed out, not once, not twice, 3 different nights he bailed out on me, and to say it was a little bit angry
because it was Friday, Saturday, and then you're like, hey, we can still salvage this. I think Sunday
Tuesday or something. Because it was like then it was finally like in the middle of the week or something like that. That it was actually Halloween.
The actual Halloween, and there was a contest. I think.
Dude, I spent so much time like lifting weights, gathering props, like shopping and. Whatever.
That was another one though. The Goonies, like I feel like I had mentioned that like
years before,
and like I remember you said like you're like, what doesn't make any sense? Like they're little kids. Like what are we gonna go on our knees or something? And I was like, well,
no. I mean like certain characters. I mean if we're all like right next to each other,
if we'd all done it, but that's a big group to get together.
Yeah,
so, yeah. Tough.
So yeah, like, but I ended up having fun with you guys. Like we went to that block party, blah blah blah, and it was kind of cool. We ended up karaokeing.
I don't think neither any of us wanted, or we didn't even enter. I think at that point we're kind of given up on the contest after Point Break. We're like, you know what? It's so much work and effort to do the contest. Let's just go out and have fun.
Yeah, because we ended up going to Tempe, which is probably not the greatest idea for those costumes, but
that's a college.
But still, after I don't know.
After about an hour, we went to Tempe because your friend got a hotel.
Yep.
And so, that's right. And then he didn't even show up. But then you got to stay in his hotel.
Yeah, but I guess I'll just stay here, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. 2017. Now, this was a direct response to all the recent celebrity deaths that we experienced. So you went as Chris Cornell.
God, I can't believe that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That seems like it was like 6 months ago.
Right. I know.
Oh, that's scary.
And Dana went as Princess Leia.
Yeah.
And
that was when we still lived in that's like, wow.
And I went as
like so
my beloved Tom Petty.
Yours was really good.
Yeah, I remember the fake teeth, like the Tom Petty. It's so bad. I'm like, but it was fun. It was like this was fun. Like again, but remember at this point we're like pretty much done. Like we're not entering contests. Like that's over. That
we did enter at Gilligan's, but we didn't win.
Yeah, but.
I think we went up together and were like dead rock stars or something.
Yeah, so,
and then the guy goes, too soon. I'm like, what? Chris Cornell died like, well, I guess it was they were both that year, but it had been like months. I mean,
it's so stupid.
I don't know. It was a tribute. It wasn't like I had like a rope around my neck or something. That would have been bad.
Right. But yeah, and then last year, 2018,
we did the mustache.
Yeah, we did the mustache costumes.
Theme.
Yeah, so so you went as Uncle Rico.
Uncle Rico, yeah.
Uncle Rico from what's his name?
Napoleon Dynamite.
Napoleon Dynamite, and also with the theme of your quarterback from
Minshew. Well, that's kind of what gave me the idea, because everyone kept saying he looks like Uncle Rico, and I was like, right. Ooh, that'd be a good Halloween costume.
Exactly.
Because like that's one of those ones that's not overdone. Like Napoleon Dynamite and Pedro, that's been done so many times. But
right.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was, but like it was.
And you did Magnum PI.
I did Magnum PI. No, okay. So I had I'm just gonna go through the list here just to paint a picture real quick here. So I had makeup on my face, glue for the mustache, spray tan on my white ass legs, hairspray over the spray tan to keep from smudging.
Right.
I had face paint for the eyebrows and mustache, fake wig that I had to cut and fit to match the hairstyle underneath the hat, and another layer of chest hair. And somehow, I don't know how this happened, with a combination of all that stuff and drinking beer and stuff. Like I apparently broke out in like that rash all over my body, and it was like some sort of crazy reaction where like it lasted.
That was bad.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. But
I'm glad it's over.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, so like, like a third of the people at that party. Remember, we went to Gilligan's. Remember they didn't even dress up. Like, is Halloween getting just? Is it? Do you think the era is just over? Like,
well,
and you were talking about this. You were talking about how are things too PC now? Like, people don't want to offend people about like costumes, because if you're making
just lazy,
I don't know, but like, remember, because you were saying if you're in a costume, it's either the ticket as a tribute, or are you making fun of somebody? It's a fine line, right?
Huh, I guess.
I don't know. That was your observation. That wasn't mine. I was like,
yeah, I think mostly it's a tribute. But yeah, I guess it depends on what like I said, if I'm Chris Cornell and dressed as Chris Cornell, that's a tribute. Yeah. But if I've got a rope around my neck and then it's like kind of morbid and
holy Jesus,
kinda, so
yeah,
might be funnier that way though. I don't know.
Yeah,
you have a dark sense of humor, I guess.
They're like, oh my God, that's Chris Cornell. You're like hanging from a doorknob.
It's like his corpse.
That's a weird way to like go, by the way. Like all these guys are like hanging. You must really want to die if you're hanging from a doorknob. Because like back in the day, like you could hang up like a thing remember like in Shawshank Redemption, you're like, all right, well here it is. I'm kicking out this stool and this is it, right? Unless something breaks from where you're hanging yourself.
Yeah, because it's interesting when you hang, like you don't die from strangulation, you die from your neck snaps.
Right. Well, yeah, generally,
really scary.
Yikes. Jesus.
Yeah.
This just took a turn for the worse. Ooh. No, but like, yeah. But I look, I just wanted to talk to you about this topic specifically, because we always bring this up, because every time this time of year comes around, we say the same thing. It's like Christmas to us. This is like our Christmas. Like this is, you know what I mean? Like
maybe it seems like it's stressful. I guess if I had like,
sometimes it is.
I think if I had thought of something like 3 or 4 months ago and had it all planned out, then I would be like, oh, I can't wait to reveal this.
Yeah, but again, like,
but I'm always like, now it's always like, oh shit, it's October already. Oh shit, I don't have a costume. What am I gonna do?
But it's again, it's not as stressful as it once was, because like we don't participate like we used to, and it's not like it used to be. Right. We used to go out there and we could compete as funny costumes, but now if you have like professional guys in like Transformers outfits, like shooting fire and shit, like, and they're turning into Transformers on the stage, I'm like, it's over.
You can't compete with that.
No, it's over. It's like, we're not competing with that. Like, it's ridiculous. But I look forward to this Halloween.
Yeah.
I wish everybody else a happy Halloween, and I'm not sure what we're going to be yet. It's pretty late, but
you don't have a costume?
I have a couple ideas, but we'll save that. We'll save that for later. And I do want to thank you for coming onto the show.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'll have to have you back on the show again. And you're going to be like one of those reoccurring guests, guest hosts. You know, kind of like they have on Saturday Night Live with Alec Baldwin or Steve Martin or
Tom
John
Hanks.
Goodman. Yeah.
What's the
There's the
Paul
five,
Simon?
Yeah, they have the Five Club, right?
Yeah.
Like where they have those all the recurring guests. And anyway, make sure that you tune into the Chuck and Josh podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Definitely.
And we'll talk to you soon. And have a wonderful rest of your day, and tell Dana I said hi.
Okay.
By the way, okay?
All right.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later, okay?
Okay, thanks.
All right, later. Thank you for tuning in to the Josh and Friends podcast. If you have any questions or comments about today's show, feel free to leave a message in the comment section below. If you enjoyed listening to the podcast, please share away. And make sure you give me a like or a good review. I can always use the help. I'm Josh, and thank you for being a friend.